Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador's webinar, Build Your Bottom Line and Tap into a Skilled Labor Pool. I'm Juanita Ford, Manager of Workforce and Industry Development with Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador. And we are pleased that you all could join us today, and we're looking forward to great discussion. Please tweet or Facebook using our hashtag Path2Profit, and that's hashtag PATHS2 PROFIT, and you'll see that logo at the bottom of our screen, and that's our program of skills and knowledge programming that we're offering with our partners to tourism operators, and we're delighted that you could join us today, but this is not the only session that we do offer. We have some more webinars coming up in the next couple weeks, so make sure you sign into those if you're interested. And I always want to thank our partners on our Skills and Knowledge Action Plan who've been collaborating with us in this initiative: the Department of Business, Tourism, Culture, and Rural Development, the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, and the Regional Destination Management Organizations. So I'm going to throw it over now. Just to let you know, though, we have some people here in the room with us as well. Craig Foley is here from Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, and Allie Borden. We have Yvonne McDermott, Ready, Willing, and Able, and she's going to let you know a little bit about herself and her programming a little later in the session. We have Lisa Sampson with the Department of Advanced Education, Skills, and Labor. Kathy Hawkins from Inclusion NL, and she's going to lead us off in the workshops webinar shortly. And we also have Laura from Inclusion NL here with us, and Nancy McGraw with Tourism Quality Assurance. So for no further ado, I'm going to turn it over now to Kathy to get started. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Juanita. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy that you're able to join us and looking forward to participation. Okay, so thanks so much for joining us today. I really want to start off the presentation with our slide that talks about no need to be awkward. And in reality, that's a video that we were going to show, but we're having a few technical glitches. So what we're going to do is actually provide you with a copy of our presentation after the session is over. So please feel free at that time to have a look at this video. What this video describes, though, is really a way for you to kind of reduce your fears and become more disability confident when you're interacting with people with disabilities. So when you get a chance to look at the video, you'll see that there are different types of folks representing different types of disabilities, and they just offer some helpful tips in terms of how you can interact and not feel like you're being fearful of what you're interacting and how you want to interact with. The reason why we brought this forward is because lots of times we feel that businesses who are interested in becoming more inclusive and build your disability confidence, lots of times you're not really sure of a starting point of how you can make your workplace more inclusive. So we just threw that video in just so that you had an idea of what it would be like in order to work with folks with disabilities. So in this presentation, we're really interested in talking from a cross-disability perspective. And for us, it means people with different types of disabilities, whether it be physical, intellectual, sensory, psychological, people with motor disabilities, people with intellectual disabilities. We could have folks who have learning disabilities as well as folks with mental health issues, and those who would have communication disabilities where they would actually use assistive devices. So what's really important when we talk about cross-disability and people who have different types of disabilities is the fact that even though two people may have the same type of disability, their accessibility needs and their inclusion needs may be very different. So it's important not to make assumptions based on what you already know about a person who would have a disability. It's always important to ask your customer or your employee with a disability what would be the best approach for them. So what is inclusion? We talk about inclusion all the time. We talk about accessibility all the time and what that looks like. For us, inclusion is a culture in which the environment, mindset, and technology enable all people to fully participate in society with equal access to the same quality of experience. So when we talk about inclusion, lots of times we want to make sure that we understand that it's a culture. Lots of people, when talking about accessibility per se, think about the built environment. They think about the ramps. They think about the widened doors. They think about those types of things when we talk accessibility. When we talk inclusion, we're talking about a culture. It includes environment, but it also includes individual attitudes and mindsets, as well as technology, and how that interacts with folks in order to maximize the full participation in society. Accessible and inclusive employment. So, an accessible workplace, what is that? It's a positive work environment that welcomes, supports, and respects and values individuals for their differences, their perspectives, their talents, and their contributions. So really it talks about the workplace per se. Inclusive employment ensures that people with disabilities can fully participate in the recruiting process, and once employed, have workplace adjustments and supports available if needed so that people with disabilities can do their jobs independently and successfully. Lots of people always, most times when people think about disabilities, they think that workplace accommodations is going to cost a lot, and it becomes a barrier for people in order to access employment. And what we're here to say today is that workplace adjustments and accommodations are the very same thing. And lots of times when you provide adjustments to employees who don't have disabilities, like allowing them to go early in order to pick up children, or to have a flexible day because of something that's going on, then in reality what you're doing is providing workplace adjustments for everybody, including people with disabilities. So the misconception that accommodations is going to cost a lot of money is one that we're really trying to kind of break out of that particular mindset around. This next slide is a very good video, yet again, that you're going to get a chance to see after, is an employer's perspective of what it's like to actually be a business champion. And this business is ANZ, and the video is actually out of Australia, where they have been have had an employment equity plan since 2008 and have well over 130 employees on their team. And it provides you with an overview of what the employer feels it's like to be a business champion and to reflect their workforce based off of their community. So if you get a chance later, I strongly encourage you to have a look at this video when you get your handout. So inclusive hiring. It's a fancy term. What do we talk about when we talk about inclusive hiring? Well, for us, we like to make sure that you hire the best qualified candidate who happens possibly to have a disability. Hiring people with disabilities is about choosing the most qualified candidate who happens to have a disability, not charitably giving a job to somebody who cannot necessarily perform it. It also talks about the same work for the same pay. People with disabilities want to be challenged to do the work that they're hired to do for the same pay as their counterparts who don't have disabilities. Hold employees with disabilities to the same standards as everybody else and address issues with work as they would arise. Sometimes people with disabilities require workplace adjustments in order for them to be successful in their job. This doesn't mean making exceptions for somebody who can't do the work, and it's certainly not special treatment for a selected few people who have disabilities. Adjustments are about removing barriers so that people with disabilities can fully participate in the workforce. Put it another way, it's about providing support, such as a computer software, flexible hours that give an employee with a disability a level playing field to successfully accomplish all of their work and excel in their job. You're probably already offering flexible hours to employees without disabilities and not realizing it. An ergonomic workstation or flex hours for family responsibilities are all examples of ways employers adjust the situations of employees without disabilities to support them in successfully accomplishing their work. Inclusive recruitment, yet another interesting term. What is that? Well, we'd like to offer you some tips in terms of what inclusive recruitment would look like, just so that you can have an understanding of being more confident in your recruitment and have a little more disability confidence when you're looking at hiring people with disabilities and bringing them into your businesses. So your first point of contact is always with your job ad, and that's really the first point in terms of recruitment. When you tap into an untapped skilled labor pool of qualified individuals who often happen to have disabilities as well. We hear about employers who say that they want to hire employees with disabilities but can't find them. And we get that a lot. We hear that a lot. We don't have people with disabilities who apply for our jobs. But yet, sometimes you're not aware that there would be simple and affordable solutions. With a labor shortage that we're all familiar with, it can be very difficult to find new employees and invest in the right talent. People with disabilities, an untapped skilled labor pool of qualified individuals, are right here, right now, wanting to work with you. We hear from many employers all the time that say that they would like to hire employees with disabilities, but they don't apply for their jobs, and employers can't find them. One of the barriers may be your job, and that you're here today to offer, and we're here to offer you some simple solutions. First point is typically when you're looking at doing job recruitment, you develop a job ad. And right now, because technology is so prevalent and so used in mainstream business these days, most times what will happen is that you will actually post an ad online. Right here we have a sample of an ad, but one of the things that people aren't aware of is that technology can prove to have barriers for people with disabilities even from the get-go of recruitment. If you're a person who uses a power chair and doesn't necessarily use a mouse, or if you're a person who has vision loss, who can't even see the screen, who relies on screen reading software in order to see the ads, web pages look very different to them. So you may see a web page or a job ad that for everybody who uses computers in the right way or the mainstreamed way would see the job ad that would look like this. But in reality, some people with disabilities could see a job ad that would look like this. And it's the exact same job ad. It's itty-bitty print. They can hardly see it, hardly understand it. And while many will say that, you know, there are buttons on your computer and your laptop that you can use to increase the size of the font, lots of times it's the way that the website is designed and coded so that you can't increase your font size, or the screen will not read out to you if you rely on screen readers. And for those reasons alone, it provides barriers to people even from the get-go of recruitment. Another example would be a screen that would look like this one, where the print is really, really small and there's lots of information in the print. But somebody who has ever coded this web page or designed it, it could actually look like this one to a person who's doing recruitment. So it's really different and important to note that accessibility and technology is paramount when you're looking at recruitment. So let's go into inclusive recruitment and give you some tips about what it is that you should be looking at and what's the right thing to do and how to actually go about it. Become more confident in your recruitment processes. Well, the first thing is that we would suggest that you encourage people with disabilities to apply for your jobs. Offer recruitment materials and job ads and application forms in multiple formats upon request. And if you do get a request from somebody who is seeking information in an alternate format, you are going to get contact information from me at the end of the seminar. Please reach out to me and contact me. We'd be able to provide those services to you, and we would certainly partner with you in order to make sure that you would provide as an inclusive recruitment process as possible. Take a look at offering multiple formats of a company contact information in your ad. Do you have a telephone number plus an email address? Is there possibly a cell number that a person who has a hearing loss could text you to inquire more about the job ads that you have? Hold your interviews in an accessible location, and lots of times we recognize that accessible locations are a challenge to find. And we would be happy to help support you to find accessible locations in your areas if you're not really sure of where to get access within your area to offer interviews. Offer workplace adjustments upon request for interviews. So if by chance somebody who's coming to you and their first language is American Sign Language, you may actually need to reach out and get an ASL interpreter involved so that that person can have, you know, a fair interview in their own first language. And you could also ensure that the interview process is accessible and not discriminatory by making sure that your questions are all fair and talk about people's abilities and not necessarily limitations. So when we talk about solutions to recruitment, some of the things that we suggest are just some ideas of ways that you could offer some starting points in terms of just, you know, first steps forward as it relates to building inclusive recruitment processes. First one would be to state your company's commitment to employment equity in your job ads. If a person would see that in their job ad, they would absolutely know then that you would be open to more inclusive hiring practices. You could also consider outreach sources such as equitech.ca. And if you haven't heard of Equitech, what that does is it provides opportunities for businesses who are interested in providing inclusive employment opportunities to post a job ad there. And it kind of is a tool that provides a collection of accessible jobs that would be available. Equitech then provides a stream where you could get the jobs that would be emailed to you. And you need to know that it's a nationwide service, but it provides regional representation. So at any point in time, if you wanted to know what jobs were available in Newfoundland, even down to the eastern Avalon region, and then filtered down again to the St. John's region, you would be able to find that information at Equitech. I've done a number of different types of seminars at trade shows and at business forums, and lots of businesses are using Equitech as a part of their tools for recruitment, so I would strongly encourage you to check it out a little further. We would also have an opportunity for you to send job ads to organizations that work with people with disabilities. I know that my partner Yvonne is here from Ready, Willing, and Able today, and she's going to talk about her organization in a few minutes. Inclusion NL is a program of Empower, the Disability Resource Center. We provide opportunities to partner with other disability organizations and could act as a broker for you if you're interested in doing a more inclusive recruitment campaign and really not sure where to start. Again, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to help you get started in those ways. You could also offer internships for opportunities for people with disabilities. Lots of times when you're doing recruitment for folks with disabilities, many people with many different types of disabilities struggle with interviews and struggle with, the initial mainstream recruitment opportunities. One way to find out if you're getting some really qualified employees with your business would be to offer internships where a person could come and validate and show you the skills that they would have for a set period of time and be able to provide you with an opportunity to really show you what their abilities would be. You could also connect with high schools, colleges, and universities to find graduates with disabilities. And you can connect with associations within the colleges and the universities as well, because lots of times graduates with disabilities are connected to other students in different types of employment groups and stuff, so you'd be able to engage and interact with them. What would be some benefits to businesses if you take a look at what inclusion looks like? Because there are lots, and I could only probably put 4 or 5 on this particular slide. The first one would be demonstrating a commitment to inclusion through business practice. If you're hiring people with disabilities, it sends a profitable message to customers, employees, and the wider community that a business is open to everybody. And it really reflects your customer base and your community when you look at the benefits to inclusion. 78% of Canadians say that they would more likely buy a product or service from a company that has a policy of hiring people with disabilities over a company that does not. And the last statistics in the province that were taken around people with disabilities who were looking for employment, who were qualified individuals, was back in 2012. And at that time, through the Canadian survey on disabilities, in Newfoundland, 14% of our population self-identified as individuals with disabilities within the working age. That equates to 60,000 Newfoundlanders and Labradorians with disabilities looking for employment. So there are lots of people out there who are looking for employment and who could provide excellent benefits and supports to your businesses as you're moving towards a more inclusive environment. We can exponentially raise the company's profile and lead to being showcased as a champion in terms of inclusive workplaces. And just as a point of numbers, when I talk about people with disabilities, in 2014 there was research done that indicated that Canadians with disabilities had a purchasing power of $55.4 billion. That has increased because that was taken 2 years ago. I don't have a number right now, but I'm guessing that it's well above $60 billion at the moment. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Yvonne now, and Yvonne is going to talk about Ready, Willing, and Able and building an inclusive workforce. Take it away, Yvonne.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Yvonne McDermott, and I'm based here in St. John's with Ready, Willing, and Able. As you may know, Ready, Willing, and Able is a national partnership between the Canadian Association for Community Living and the Canadian Autism Spectrum Disorders Alliance, and they're member organizations. So it's funded by the Government of Canada, and it's active now in 20 communities across the country. And the purpose of RWA is to increase labor force participation of people with intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorder. RWA looks at 2 points, really, retention and reliability. Retention in the tourism industry, like other service industries, is often an issue. The average turnover rate for employees across all industries is 49%, and the stats we're using for what they consider the quick service industry is 75% turnover rate. So RWA uses the stats that employers in the industry have reported a 35% turnover rate among staff with an intellectual disability, or ASD. So that's quite a difference in terms of retention. They also talk about reliability quite a bit. 86% of people with disabilities rated average or better on attendance than their non-disabled colleagues. And 75% or more of employers rate workers with intellectual disabilities as very good on performance factors. So those are really good stats. It's considered an untapped workforce and something that can certainly make your business stronger, diverse, and more productive. I also have an inclusive hiring video here. I hope you'll have a look at it after. And I've included my contact information. If you'd like more information on RWA, Ready, Willing, and Able, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to talk to you about it. So RWA will and can connect and support employers with persons with intellectual disabilities and ASD, and local, provincial, and national community agencies. So I work with the agencies here in St. John's that connect with you as employers. RWA also promotes understanding and awareness among employers and the general public as to the business value of hiring people with intellectual disabilities and ASD. And we can complement and enhance the capacity of community employment service delivery organizations by connecting them to new employer demand. And we have financial help available in terms of workplace accommodation if necessary. That's not always necessary, as you know. But please, if you're interested at all, please give me a call. I'd love to connect with you. And I'm going to hand it on now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Sampson, and I'm a Labour Market Development Officer at our Duckworth Street location employment centre. The Department of Advanced Education, Skills and Labour has been partnering with the Inclusion NL and Empower to support employers with recruitment and retention, in particular through Businesses Open. The points on the slide in your PDF will be hyperlinked, so you will be able to connect directly to the website that will give you more substantial and detailed information that I'm able to give you today. As well, it will give you some more focused contact information. Instead of just having general numbers to contact, you'll be able to really connect with someone who is connected to each of these programs. So the department has a number of supports for employers to help them find, keep, and manage employees. Our employment centers, of course, we have 19 employment centers throughout the province for people to access if they prefer in-person help. The Job Bank, which is a federally run website. However, we do have staff who can assist employers with registering for the Job Bank as well as placing an ad. If you have any difficulties, you can find someone local to help you. And there's also an employer support section built into this site to answer frequently asked questions. The Newfoundland HR Manager Toolkit offers free HR support to small to medium-sized businesses and focuses on recruitment and retention. It is a comprehensive toolkit of new ideas, practical guidelines, checklists, and downloadable templates that can be customized to your business. It includes templates to assist with writing job ads, interview questions, and there's also a section on managing a diverse workplace. And of course, diversity can include, a range of abilities, age, culture. Your workplace can be diverse in many different ways, and there are some suggestions on this website that can help you address any issues you might be having in your workplace. The Canada Newfoundland Job Grant allows employers to access up to $10,000 per employee per year for eligible training. This can be for new or current employees and must be linked to new or ongoing employment opportunities with the employer. The Wage Subsidy Program is there to help employers when hiring new individuals, and some of those programs include the Jobs in NL program and Student Summer Employment programs, and they can help assist with wages during the hiring stage, the first few months of an employee coming to work with an organization. Labor market partnerships provide funding to support employers and community groups to develop and put in place a strategy to deal with labor market adjustments and to meet human resource requirements. So the labor market partnership may be used to provide assistance to employed persons who are facing loss of employment if an organization is anticipating or planning large layoffs, and the labor market partnerships may be a good way to connect with us to help address some of the needs of those employees and help them make the next step to connect to employment again. The Provincial Nominee Program, also referred to as the Foreign Worker Program, helps employers to fill skill shortages in areas where you are unable to recruit locally or within the country, in areas where there is a proven skill shortage and there just simply aren't individuals available to fill the positions that you might be looking for. Labor market information is available through our website. There's a large section of information to aid in planning for future needs and determining industry outlook. In particular, there is the Outlook 2025 document that is available to be downloaded. And we also have online employer workshops through SmartForce NL. And on our website, you will find a substantial list of free courses available, as well as some others that are reasonably priced to help support business operations, including a whole section again on diversity, business succession planning, accounting basics, recruitment, social media, leadership, and so on. You can register for these on the Course Park site, which is also linked to that website. So once you get the PDF and you're able to connect to some of these sites, you'll be able to get more details. And of course, if you want to connect with us to get more information about any of our programs, you can certainly, again, contact us through our website. You can come in to visit one of the employment centers, or you can call us. And this is a general information hotline, but they will be able to direct you to someone who is an expert in any of the areas that we cover today. And that's all for me. Back to Kathy, I believe.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. It's really interesting to see all the listings of the services and the programs that Department of Advanced Education and Skills and Labor actually has. The Inclusion in L program is actually funded through the Labor Market Partnership Program. So you can see what potentials there are in terms of funding and programs that are available. So inclusionnl.ca, it is a great web resource that we offer to businesses and employers that provides a toll-free number for businesses to contact us directly. If you have any questions, any inquiries, any directions, please call 1-844-517-1576. We also have handouts and resources on inclusive recruitment, hiring, interviews. If you're interested in developing employment equity policies within your workforce or not really sure even how to go about retention, there are resources and supports and partnerships available for you. You will also get a collection of accessibility checklists as a part of participating in this webinar. There is a handout that will be coming to you that offers supports and provides information around accessibility in terms of communications, in terms of if you're hosting a meeting, exterior, interiors of buildings, public washrooms, emergency preparedness. What do you do if you've got employees with disabilities on staff and you want to make sure that your safety and emergency egress policies are completely inclusive and accessible? As well as free services to build partnerships and disability confidence within your businesses through a really unique partnership that we offer called Businesses Open, where we provide 5 different points of services for free to any business who is interested in building their disability confidence and becoming a more inclusive employment workplace. We have a team with over 30-plus years experience in disability inclusion and awareness, and we can provide you with a whole host of different types of information and resources and opportunities. Please, if you're interested in building your disability confidence, safely, build it with Inclusion NL, and feel free to give me a call. Be happy to open it up for questions. Anybody has any questions, comments?
Kathy, it's Juanita. Could you give us a couple of examples of some of the tourism-related businesses that you've done some adaptions and inclusion projects with?
Sure, absolutely. Of course, the immediate one that comes to mind is the work that we've been doing with Nunatsiut Marine and the work that we've done as it relates to providing customer service training, accessibility reviews. So when we were contacted by Nunatsiut Marine, they were really interested in learning more about the accessibility features of the Northern Ranger because they were going to be providing services up the northern coast of Labrador. We went and did an accessibility review of the ferry, offering information and resources through a report that we provided to give them some ideas of currently where the accessibility features are right now, because that ferry is well over 30 years old, and some ways that they could increase their accessibility, and not necessarily through infrastructure. I mean, a boat is only so large, and you're not going to be able to expand a boat when it goes on the water, but we offered information and resources around providing staff training to their crew. So I actually went on the first coastal run that Nunatsiut Marine offered this summer season and provided opportunities to train their crew on location, and then went into communities and talked about the accessibility features and the services that Nunatsiut Marine were providing is one example of ways that we could provide that. We've also provided resources to different types of retail stores who were interested in doing professional training with staff. We have provided resources and supports to people in the hospitality, hotel, motel businesses where they're interested in providing customer service training as well as employee training. So there are lots of different opportunities available, and we're really interested in learning more about the individual businesses and what they feel their needs would be, because we're quite open to customizing training as well.
Great. Thanks, Kathy. Does anybody out there have any questions? Well, we're going to be sending out the PowerPoint, Caroline, to each of you, and you can link through to that. And as I said, the organization's contact information is included. And, of course, all of the other pertinent links would be included in the resource guides that we do make available to industry as well.
Hi, Juanita. It's Caroline. I guess with this one, I fully appreciate the links. I think that's very helpful. But sometimes we get questions from different employers to say, well, I want to learn about each one. I just don't have the time. Can you give me in like a one-sentence outline of what each one of those links is going to provide me? And I was just wondering if it would be possible to put something together like that, just like I can't remember who presented on it, but the presenter just did verbally of, this link provides this link provides this. I know it won't capture everything, but something really quick that, of course, the employer could use.
No worries. We'll add some descriptions around those links and send them out.
I think that'd be really helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay. So as I'd like to thank our presenters today, Kathy, Yvonne, and Lisa. Thanks for coming in today and participating with us. And we'll make sure we'll feed any information that's needed to anybody back through each group. As I said, each of you, one more quick question. Yeah, go ahead, Caroline.
Okay, sorry to jump in again. In terms of the resources that were made available for employers that are hiring people with disabilities, do those individuals with the disabilities have to have it in writing that they have an official disability, or is there a bit of wiggle room there?
Go ahead.
Hi, Carolyn. It's Yvonne. I think there's lots of wiggle room there. I know RWA works with people who self-identify as having disabilities. So no, there has to be no documentation from my point of view.
Okay, thank you.
And this is Kathy. And for us, we don't require any type of medical documentation at all. It would be if a person self-identifies, and we're really here to provide services to businesses and support employers per se.
Okay, excellent.
So feel free to ask at any point.
Okay, really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks again. As I said, we will be sending out a follow-up email. And one thing we wanted to announce, we are also planning with our partners here at the table a job fair in March 22nd here in St. John's. So we're looking at providing opportunities for employers who will be hiring to work with different organizations and individuals looking for jobs. So we're very excited to do that as well. And so we look forward to working with you, and as I said, many of you are not here in the St. John's area, but if there are some needs on the ground in your regions, by all means let us know, and we can work and make sure employers get connected to these great organizations as well. So stay tuned to your email, and we'll send out that links. Also, we have a few things coming up soon. We have another webinar next week, I believe on Instagram. So that should be out in the information realm, and we'll make sure everybody get links to that as well. And once again, I want to thank our partners, the Department of Business, Tourism, Culture, and Rural Development, and the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agencies, as well as our destination management organizations in the regions. So thanks, everybody, and have a great day. And if I'm not talking to you before that, have a great Christmas. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody.